I'm Jason Osborne, and today we're going to talk about some of the ways we're preparing for the future in academic affairs. In academic affairs, we've been renovating and rethinking and reimagining and innovating for the future so that we position Miami University to thrive not only after the pandemic, but for decades to come, and honoring the long legacy here at Miami University. We find ourselves in an interesting environment these days. Not only have we been thinking about what they refer to as the demographic cliff, which is the predicted decrease in high school graduates in certain areas of the country. Not only do we find ourselves facing this demographic cliff, but we find ourselves in interesting socio-cultural and economic times. We also, of course, are facing the global pandemic, which throws a lot of uncertainty into the future. As you can see from this particular graph, they're expecting between 1.2 and 2 million high school dropouts, and we're expecting significant declines in the number of first-time enrollments in college. With more universities than ever over the last couple decades, we face increased competition. But there's a lot of opportunities. And so this is another graph that shows that we have high school completion rates in the U.S., but we have relatively low college completion rates. So while we're talking about the fact that there may be fewer high school graduates for us to enroll in the future, we have a huge opportunity if we can increase the number of high school graduates that go to college. I look at this as a past failure for our society where less than a third of our population is getting a college degree, and a huge opportunity for the future where we have many more people who we can enroll in college and move on to professions that will permanently alter their future trajectory and the future possibilities of their families and of their communities. And we know that completing a college degree or a graduate degree has long-term and permanent benefits. We can look at unemployment rates, and we can see that unemployment rates for people holding college or graduate credentials are much lower than those who only have a high school diploma, less than a high school diploma, or some college. During the recent recessions and economic downturns, we've seen significant differences between those holding a graduate degree, a bachelor's degree, and then credentials or lack of credentials less than a bachelor's degree. At the same time, we also see significant benefits in terms of median weekly earnings, which is on this graph, but then also that translates into annual earnings and lifetime earnings as well. There are non-monetary benefits to graduating from college, including increased life satisfaction, more participation in voting and government activities, social engagement, health, the wellness of the communities that people live in, where there are higher educational attainment averages, and so on and so forth. So we have a combination of several things going on in our world. We have relatively low college going and graduate going, and at the same time, we have significant benefits to those who do complete those degrees. Miami, when we enroll a student, does fairly well at helping them complete. We have excellent students and amazing faculty and staff who help us attain very high graduation rates compared to national six-year graduation rates, which you can see here, for a wide variety of demographic groups. And so on the whole, another one of our opportunities as a nation is for those who go to college, ensuring that we have better odds of completion. Because the worst thing we can do is have students expend significant resources and time and then not graduate, or take on significant amounts of debt and not graduate. Expending significant resources and time and taking on educational debt is a lifelong benefit if you complete. So that's the nuance there. At Miami, we're working to close achievement gaps that are typically observed in the nation, and we are looking at increasing these every year. So we're investing in the future of our students. We're investing in trying to make sure that everyone who comes to Miami can complete and reap the benefits that we just saw on the last slide. Our recently unveiled Miami Rise strategic plan paved the way for us into the future. Before the pandemic, the strategic plan, which was developed in deep consultation with all areas of the university, faculty, staff, students, alumni, corporate partners, employers, the cities and towns in which we reside, and so on, it was very prescient at the time. And we didn't know the pandemic was coming, but the 30 recommendations really paved the way for us to be thinking and preparing how to pivot Miami into a successful future, to be even more successful. And we created 4 different buckets in which we put these 30 recommendations. One of them, of course, we're a research university, and so research, scholarship, and artistry, the production of new knowledge and works has to be always at the forefront of our mind. And so we're investing in things like creating an enhanced Office of Research and Innovation led by people who can support sponsored programs, external engagement, undergraduate student research, graduate student research, development of intellectual property, etc. We have always at the forefront of our university students and student success, and so there were many recommendations around how do we continue doing what I just mentioned, where we enhance the opportunity for students who come to Miami to succeed, to graduate in a reasonable time frame and at a high level. Some of these initiatives include investing in professional advisors, and so while our faculty are amazingly skilled at advising our students, and they've been great mentors and will continue to be great mentors to our students, we also have a core of professional advisors that we're building who will help make sure that our students are getting good guidance in terms of moving through their degree programs efficiently, taking the courses that will best prepare them for the future. And so it's a partnership between the professional advising core that we're developing and our deeply committed and excellent faculty. Innovation is another area where we're always striving for. We're trying to create degree programs that are desirable, that meet the needs of our workforce, that respond to students' interests, that are, of course, in line with what parents expect students to be able to do. Part of this initiative is to create high-value graduate degree programs, professional programs, that allow students to major in what they love and then also get other degrees that help prepare them for the workforce. One statistic that I always like to share is that only 12% of the U.S. adult population has a graduate or professional degree, but 20 to 25% of job postings require a graduate degree. And we know, again, that graduate degrees pay off over the lifetime. So we're paving the way for students to be successful in those areas as well. We're using national data, local data, internal data, surveys of applicants, and all kinds of metrics to identify areas where we can continue expanding, both at the undergraduate and the graduate level, both in Oxford and in our regional campuses, and making sure that we're providing paths to success for all students, regardless of where you're coming from. And finally, engagement. We are an engaged campus. We have national recognition over how many of our students study abroad, study away, do service learning, give back to the community, create new knowledge through research or other projects, create intellectual property, invent something, use a patent in a different way, or develop a dormant patent into something that's usable. We're engaging in many, many ways in honor of our university values, our institutional values of giving back to the world and making the world a better place. And we challenge those students who have the talent and the ability and the drive to make the world a better place to do so while they're here. One of the ways we're doing that is through our new Honors College, which has started this fall, with a larger incoming class than we ever imagined, a more diverse class than most honors programs ever have. And in fact, it's a more diverse community than our campus as a whole. And they are charged with inventing something, creating that first research project, writing that first novel or play, producing the first work of art, giving back to the community in a meaningful way, making the world a better place in whatever way makes sense to them. And in doing so, the Honors College becomes a key gem in the Miami University crown in living the values that we espouse. As we come out of the pandemic, as we go into this new future that we're all co-creating, I want to share with you how much we appreciate what everyone's doing in our university community to make sure that we are the best university we can be for the years to come. Thank you very much.